the Browns drafted 2 quarterbacks. They wanted us to pay attention. We got a reason to pay attention.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that Shadur Sanders could be that guy. He's a polarizing guy off the football field. He does all the right things as far as being in the community and being present, especially with the youth. And if it all comes together on a football field, then man, that would be one hell of a story to have him be the franchise quarterback of this team.
So representatives for Dillon Gabriel reached out to me to try to give me a cease and desist order. Willing and ready and rock and roll, ready to go to court. So I triple dare your representatives to take me to court. In fact, Dillon Gabriel, I want you, bitch boy, take me to court. Let's fast forward.
In my comments telling me how Dillon Gabriel has this superb accuracy and how he has a higher QB IQ than Shadur Sanders. Bring y'all asses back. So tell me, have y'all been watching the Cleveland Browns minicamp? And have y'all been seeing how Shedeur is out there running circles around Dillon? Have y'all been seeing it?
What do you even do? When your biggest L doesn't come from game film, but from a practice clip so viral, your team starts whispering about lawyers. Because that's exactly what's happening at Cleveland Browns training camp, where rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel didn't just lose his spotlight, he lost control of the entire narrative. Across the field, Shadur Sanders, a late-round pick who's out here acting like he owns the franchise. Not asking for attention, not begging for reps. Just dominating, quietly, and making everyone who doubted him recalculate their drafts, their tweets, and probably their careers. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel. He walked into camp expecting to compete, but took one look at the highlight reel Shadur was putting together and allegedly tried to call his lawyers instead of his offensive coordinator. Yeah, that's real. This ain't just a QB battle. It's a full-blown culture clash. Swagger versus structure. Showtime versus spreadsheet. And one of them is getting cooked so bad, the only thing left is legal paperwork. So how did we even get here? How did a fourth-string QB step onto the field and flip the entire franchise conversation without saying a word? Strap in, because what you're about to hear might be the wildest rookie camp rivalry the NFL's seen in years. And it's all unfolding before a single snap has even counted on the scoreboard.
Well, you mean to tell me the 144th pick, 5th round QB is outplaying Dillon Gabriel? Ain't no way in the world that's happening. It's happening. We're all witnessing this here, live and direct. We're all seeing it. But we're all seeing what we knew. This don't surprise us. Dillon Gabriel, I'm not knocking his game, but he's not even. Have you seen him stand beside Shedeur? Have you? Have you? Because I have. And that's very important. Very important. You want your QBs to see over the line of scrimmage. Just like y'all know that. To my next point, all this fanfare and hate for the Sanders family. And folks don't realize.
I can't imagine there's many people that think Dillon Gabriel's a better quarterback than Shadur Sanders. I don't care where they were drafted. If the Browns are the one team that thinks that, then I'm going to suspect it's not good. They don't know what
Listen,
they're doing.
I every quarterback evaluation for 30 years.
Right.
I never root against anybody.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if Dillon Gabriel's ever a legitimate starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I'd be surprised. I just don't think.
Well, then it is a wasted pick because you took him in the top 100.
Yeah, but potentially may get away with it because of Shedeur.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. You know, a quarterback battle's taken a dark turn when legal teams get involved before the defensive line does. Reports started flying when representatives allegedly tied to Dillon Gabriel reached out not for a trade, not for protection, but for a cease and desist. The rumor? Footage of Shadur lighting him up on the practice field was circling too fast, and Dillon's camp wanted it shut down. This wasn't just about bad press. It was about pride, image, and survival. But instead of folding, the story took a sharp turn. Because Shadur? He didn't even blink. No subtle shade. No Instagram captions. Just performance. Just sharp surgical throws. Each one carving through the noise like it was personal. Every clip that surfaced made it worse. Shedeur floating passes like poetry into tight windows. Dillon scrambling, misfiring, flipping through the playbook like it was written in ancient Greek. And while Gabriel's people were allegedly filing complaints, Shedeur was out there filing highlight after highlight into every sports outlet's favorite reel. It wasn't even camp anymore. It was courtroom chaos disguised as quarterback reps.
Both the Browns' rookie quarterbacks are being positioned, in their opinion, to start games this upcoming season, but how each quarterback is on a completely different developmental path for the summer here. So they said Shadur Sanders is the one being, quote, carefully nurtured in a controlled environment, and Dillon Gabriel is being, quote, thrown directly into the fire against the team's best defenders. So that's where we transition over to this article that says why Dillon Gabriel is getting first-team reps while Shadur Sanders waits his turn. So they talk about Gabriel working with Flacco, Pickett, first teams, and Shedeur, like I said, often works with himself on a different field with the second and third string.
One guy playing football, the other pleading his case. And the field wasn't siding with paperwork. Because here's the thing. In a league where momentum means everything, it doesn't matter where you were drafted. It matters who owns the moment. And right now, Shadur Sanders isn't just winning, he's closing arguments. The moment Shadur Sanders walked into Browns camp, the energy shifted. Not loud, not flashy, just that quiet confidence that makes people stop mid-conversation and turn their heads. Helmet tucked under his arm, visor low, no music playing because the swagger was loud enough. He wasn't here to prove a point. He was the point. While some rookies tiptoe into their reps hoping not to mess up, Shadur stepped onto the field like a man who already knew the ending. And spoiler? It didn't include him standing on the sidelines. First throw, laser. Second, even better. By his third snap, even the veterans started watching between sets. And then there was Dillon, tight-lipped. Helmet already on, his cleats were polished, his motions rehearsed. But all that prep didn't matter, not when Shedeur was turning every drop back into a trailer for QB1, the movie. Teammates weren't just impressed, they were magnetized. Receivers started leaning closer. Coaches stopped squinting at their play sheets and just watched.
This is what's going to be tough on Dillon Gabriel. He's in a tough spot. The public social media favors Shadur Sanders. He's going to have to fight the battle of public opinion where most people are going to be on Shedur's side. Here's Shadur and the cultural young icon he is. Here we are taking a picture as the rookies. The first pose they come up with is Shedur's pose. Let me show you my rollie and put the wrist up. And how do you think Dillon Gabriel feels about that? He's like, wait, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're doing the Shadur. So he's really got an uphill battle. So not only does Shadur have the proverbial chip on his shoulder, and now Dillon Gabriel's got to deal with, wait, I was the guy that was drafted before Shadur, and they're going to talk about Shadur a whole lot more than...
It was like seeing a fourth-round pick carry the gravity of a #1 overall, without saying a single word. Meanwhile, every clean spiral he threw started erasing the question marks around his name. Every confident Red screamed, "This isn't my first rookie camp, this is my takeover tour." And for Dillon, the quarterback room didn't feel like a classroom anymore. It felt like a courtroom. And Shadur wasn't walking in to share the spotlight. He was there to burn it into his silhouette. Dillon Gabriel showed up to Browns camp with expectations on his back and a chip on his shoulder. Drafted over Shadur. Given first-team reps. Positioned by the franchise as the one to watch. But from the very first whistle, the vibes were off. The confidence looked forced. The body language, twitchy. And as the pocket collapsed around him, so did everything else. He wasn't playing quarterback, he was surviving it. Every dropback looked like he was debating the throw before it ever left his hand. Every checkdown screamed uncertainty. Even the tight spirals bounced short or sailed wide like he was reacting to ghosts instead of defenders.
I wasn't saying Dillon Gabriel was looking better at practice than Shadur Sanders, but they straight lied. Look, mind you just seen how he threw the ball, bro. He put all his effort into that throw, and it was only 20 yards down the field. Now let me show you Shadur Sanders, bro, somebody that's outplaying him by a mile, bro. It's not even close. Meanwhile, while Dillon Gabriel struggling, you feel me? Shadur Sanders down the field looking like Tom Brady. You said he didn't have an arm? Like, bro, just look at the difference between him in the pocket, how poised he looks, how professional he looks. He looks like Tom Brady, bro.
And while a camera in one corner caught Dillon rifling through a tablet, probably praying the film lied, the other 300 lenses were zeroed in on the guy across the field, spinning absolute magic. It wasn't just bad luck. It was bad timing, bad optics, and a bad showcase of what should have been a seasoned rookie coming in with poise. Because while Dillon was struggling to complete a simple out route, Shadur was hitting post corners in stride. Not just once, not twice, every single rep. The worst part? People noticed fast. Teammates, scouts, media reps. You could feel it in how quiet the field got when Dillon threw, versus how loud it got when Shadur flicked his wrist. One quarterback was generating sound, the other? Static. By day 2, receivers were visibly dragging through reps with Dillon, like they were checking a box. Meanwhile, the same guys were slicing through routes at game day speed for Shadur, like they were auditioning for postseason chemistry. It wasn't just mechanics either. It was mentality. Shedeur stood tall, surveyed coverages like he had all day, eyes cool behind that visor. Dillon? Panic in the feet, jitter in the knees, and a look that said, I know I'm losing this battle real time. What was meant to be a QB competition started turning into a quarterback clinic, and Dillon Gabriel landed in the patient's chair. And that's around the point the story took a turn. Not in the stat sheets, but in the locker room whispers. Because when a quarterback starts overcompensating and the cameras are catching every frame, the narrative starts to write itself. The throws kept getting shakier, the confidence kept slipping, and worst of all, the excuses started sounding louder than the completions. By the end of day 3, Dillon didn't just look beat. He looked like a guy trying to remember if football was ever fun. And across the field, Shedeur wasn't just winning. He was rewriting what winning even looked like. It didn't take long for the truth to break through the football cliches. This wasn't just a competition between two quarterbacks. It was a culture shift playing out in real time. See, teams don't have to say out loud who the favorite is. You feel it. You see it in the reps, in the body language, in the sideline reactions that aren't in the playbook but say everything. And right now, the Cleveland Browns are catching Shadur Sanders fever. And it's spreading faster than a meme after a Monday night game. Let's start with the receivers. With Dillon under center, it's all procedural. Routes run, ball delivered. Next rep. But when Shedeur steps in, it's showtime. Suddenly, you've got wideouts launching off the line like their season depends on it. Cuts are sharper, hands are grippier. Even route running looks like it's been rehearsed under stadium lights. There's a different energy when the ball's coming from Shedeur, like they know it's an audition tape and he's holding the camera. Then there's the locker room. Players were mimicking Shedeur's signature pose before they even played a full preseason snap together. One viral image. 11 rookies doing the Shadur wrist flex. The message couldn't be louder. He's not just a quarterback. He's a brand, a presence, a moment. And Dillon? Well, he looked like the substitute teacher at picture day. There's no hate, no disrespect. Dillon's got mechanics, he's got pedigree. But in a league hungry for charisma, confidence, and command, he's reading the room like a guy waiting for approval. Shedeur, on the other hand, he flipped the room the second he walked in. It's not just about the film anymore. It's about vibes, impact, and identity. The Browns didn't just draft players. They brought in characters. And Shadur? He's become the main character of rookie camp, whether the front office admits it or not. Even coaches are showing their hand without saying a word. Who gets pulled aside for conversation? Who gets the subtle nods after big plays? Who has the reporters circling like sharks near the sideline? It's not the guy they drafted earlier. It's not the one who's throwing checkdowns like he's filling out a worksheet. It's the guy who drops a no-look laser 30 yards downfield, jogs back without saying a word, and lets the field speak for him. So, culture-wise, the tide is turning. And Dillon Gabriel isn't just fighting for reps anymore. He's fighting against gravity. If you've ever watched a quarterback battle unfold at camp, you know reps tell the story. But this time, it's the difference between those reps that has people whispering. Because while Dillon Gabriel is out there taking first-team snaps, working alongside veterans, and facing the team's top defensive unit day after day, Shadur Sanders? He's been kept in a different orbit. Some are calling it smart coaching. Others are calling it a cover. The official line says Shadur is being carefully nurtured in a controlled environment. Translation? He's cooking, but we don't want to admit it yet. Dillon's path has been the traditional one. Drafted higher, thrown right into the fire. Reps with Joe Flacco, facing Myles Garrett-level pressure. No parachute, no easing in. He's expected to sink or swim. Unfiltered, unprotected, unforgiving. Shadur's path? Drip-fed, according to some insiders. Second-team work here, third-team reps there, a few first-team cameos. But when the Browns' Twitter account does post highlights, guess who's always front and center? Shadur Sanders. Here's what makes it weirder. Despite getting fewer reps against elite defenders, it's Shedur's tape that's lighting up the film rooms and the fan base. It's his practice clips that go viral. It's his spirals throwing fuel on the media narrative. So now the rumor mill's spinning. Are coaches protecting Dillon by throwing him in early, knowing full well Shedur's moment is coming later? Or are they protecting Shedur's rise so they can unleash it at just the right time? Because if you're watching closely, the hierarchy isn't clean-cut anymore. The first team label? Sure, it's on Dillon's quarterback sheet, but it doesn't match the reality on the ground. Reps don't lie. Reaction doesn't lie. Energy doesn't lie. One quarterback is getting opportunities, the other's getting buzz. And in the NFL, buzz beats opportunity every single time. It almost feels like the Browns' front office is trying to manage a storm that's already out of their control. Shedeur didn't just enter camp, he entered everyone's heads. And the fact that he's not being fully unleashed makes people wonder, are they afraid of how good it will look once they do? They're giving Dillon live ammo. Shedeur's tossing behind the scenes smoke bombs and still coming out as the headline. Something's brewing inside that facility. And the longer they try to slow walk Shedeur's rise, the louder it gets. It started as a normal day at Brown's rookie training camp and ended with lawyers allegedly being looped in over football clips. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's exactly how out of control this quarterback battle has become. Because once Shadur Sanders started stacking highlight-level throws like clockwork, the internet did what it always does, it flooded. TikTok edits, Twitter memes, Reddit threads with courtroom sketches. QB versus QB, the trial of the century. It was funny, until it wasn't. Word leaked that reps for Dillon Gabriel were not happy with how footage was being used. Some even alleged that a cease and desist letter was being drawn up behind the scenes. Not because of slander, not because of stolen plays, but because clips of Shedeur cooking Dillon were going too viral. You know it's ugly when internet jokes turn into legal consultations. Forget game prep, Dillon was allegedly prepping statements. And the fans? They ate it up. People started calling it the receipts versus reality showdown. Every time Dillon threw a wobbler at practice, it hit Twitter within minutes, followed by a slow-mo clip of Shedeur hitting an impossible sideline dart with cinematic background music. And it wasn't just edits. Even team banter got spicy. Media reports started slipping in phrases like, uncomfortable quarterback energy at camp, uneven distribution of swagger. One of these guys doesn't look like the others. Meanwhile, Shedeur didn't say a word. No clapbacks, no tweets, just more reps, more dimes, more film that fans kept eating up like primetime episodes. The contrast was brutal. One quarterback trending for his throws, the other for threatening legal action about being outthrown. And that's when it fully shifted. This wasn't football anymore. It was PR warfare, ego management, reputation survival. You could feel it in how the team moved. Everyone just started orbiting around Shadur. He wasn't QB4, he was the headliner at an RSVP-only performance. Front row seats only, no autographs, just touchdowns. And Dillon? He became the subplot, the other guy in the highlight. The reminder that in the NFL, draft order means nothing if clips say otherwise. By day 3, even the water boys knew it. And in those silent, small moments between drills, before huddles, you could see it in Dillon's eyes. He didn't lose the job yet, but he could feel it slipping. And the internet? Already drafted Shadur Sanders as QB1 in the court of public opinion. No objections, no appeals. Case closed. Every athlete prepares for pressure, but nobody prepares to be outclassed on film, online, and in your own locker room. For Dillon Gabriel, this wasn't just a few bad throws. It was a full-blown identity crisis, happening in real time, with cameras rolling. From day one, the comparison wasn't subtle. Shedeur didn't have to talk, didn't have to posture. He just showed up, locked in, and dropped dimes like it was light work. But for Dillon, every misstep carried weight. Every missed read echoed louder. Every fluttering pass felt heavier. Not because of the scoreboard, this was just practice, but because of the silence from his teammates after each rep. See, humiliation in football doesn't always come from a scoreboard. Sometimes it comes from body language, and Dillon's body started saying everything. The timing in his throws snapped slower. His posture shifted less confident, more cautious. Eye contact? Gone. By day 3, it wasn't just about him competing. It felt like he was grasping, trying to hold on to a title that was already sliding into someone else's hands. And Shedeur? He kept piling it on. Just by doing his job better, cleaner, smoother. That's the worst kind of loss. When the guy opposite you isn't even trying to beat you, he's just being him, and it still makes everything you're doing look nervous, forced, off. And here's the deeper issue. In today's league, quarterbacks aren't just throwing footballs. They're branding themselves with every snap. Confidence is currency. Swagger matters. And while Shedeur was out there moving like he'd been QB1 before he even unpacked his bag, Dillon was spiraling into self-doubt. You could see it in the reps. He questioned himself before the ball left his hands. The hesitation was deadly. One extra beat, one slight delay, and suddenly, defenders closed in. Receivers slowed their routes. The throws started losing trust. When a QB loses trust in himself, in his receivers, in his timing, the game starts collapsing from the inside out. And that's the quiet war Dillon is losing, not the one on paper, the one in his head. Because it's one thing to get outperformed, it's another to know your team feels it, the internet's watching it, and the guy replacing you doesn't even act like he's trying. He's just that guy. And Dillon? He looks like he knows exactly where this story is heading. Spoiler alert. He's not the main character anymore. You'd expect a guy like Shadur Sanders to talk. He's got the pedigree, the spotlight, the viral clips, the fan base. Most players in his position would be dancing on every successful throw. They'd be racking up social posts and captions like, "They said I couldn't do it. Look at me now." But that's not how Shedeur moves. Because what Shedeur understands maybe better than anyone is this: silence can humiliate louder than words ever will. And that's exactly what he's doing to Dillon Gabriel. Not intentionally, not out of malice, just through pure, unbothered superiority. While Dillon's grinding through drills with full focus and clenched teeth, Shedeur's jogging through reps like he's filming a Nike commercial. Shoulders relaxed, footwork crisp, throws hitting like precision-guided missiles. No flex, no gloating, only execution. It's surgical, it's clinical, and worst of all, it's effortless. That's what stings. Not that Shedeur is better right now, that was already hard enough to swallow. But what's unbearable is that he's doing it with simplicity, with comfort, with the kind of poise you'd expect from playoff veterans, not rookies on their first NFL field. Every time Dillon forces a play, throws another underwhelming dig, or scrambles too late only to float a dying duck into the flats, Shedeur answers not with a smirk or a stare down, but with a smooth bomb downfield, dropped in a bucket, and a quick jog back to the huddle. No celebration, no look at me energy, just another day at the office. And that cuts deep. Because trash talking, you can fire back at that. You can turn it into fuel, but silence? Execution? Accuracy that doesn't blink? You can't argue with that. There's no comeback. So now, Dillon's not just playing catch-up. He's trying to outshine someone who isn't even trying to shine. Shedeur's not auditioning. He's existing. And somehow, just by doing that, he's commanding every camera, reshaping every headline, and making everyone else, including Dillon, look like background noise. And in the world of pro football, where image is baked into identity, being ignored might be the most brutal loss of them all. At this point, it's not even about stats, not about who got more first-team reps, or who had the better college resume, or who looked better in their draft day suit. All of it has become something else entirely. Because what Shadur Sanders is doing in Cleveland right now is bigger than a quarterback battle. He's redefining what momentum looks like. He walked in at QB4. Now, he's the main character in a room full of hopefuls. Players look to him. Coaches get quiet when he drops back. Even the media, once unsure if he was ready, is now writing headlines in advance. Each throw isn't just clean, it's calculated. Each read feels like a message. A reminder. I don't need an apology, I need the offense, and I'm taking it. And here's the cold part. He hasn't even officially been given the spot yet, but it doesn't matter. Because out on the field, between the lines, with cleats in the dirt and pressure building, Shedeur's already QB1. You can see it in his pocket presence, the kind of calm that makes blitzes look like slow motion. You can see it in the eyes of the receivers who run harder when he's under center. You can hear it in the silence that follows broken plays when he walks back to the huddle without breaking stride. There's no panic, no nerves, just this silent confidence that screams, "When you're done testing every other option, I'll be right here running your offense better than you imagined." And for Dillon Gabriel, the questions will keep coming. Can he bounce back? Can he handle the noise? Or does the weight of comparison start turning reps into quicksand? Because here's the truth. This battle might have started on the whiteboard, in meetings, in press conferences, but it ended on the field, in spirals, in swagger, in a vibe you can't coach and you can't fake. And that vibe is wearing number 2. So to every scout, every coach, and every fan still wondering if Shadur Sanders has what it takes, you're asking the wrong question. He's not waiting for permission, he's already on the move. And when the lights turn on and the games start counting, he's not walking, he's kicking down the door. If you've been eating this QB drama like a Netflix original, stay locked in because this story's nowhere near over. Shedeur isn't just playing to win. He's playing to own the moment, and the NFL isn't ready for the impact that's coming.